So we're gonna do the intro.
Yes,
Oh.
that comes next. We're gonna do the intro, and you have your new outro to do today too.
If it doesn't get us demonetized, I'm sure as long as you don't talk about COVID, it's probably okay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kink Positive Podcast. I'm that bad teacher.
And I'm Master Arch.
We're a dom and sub from opposite sides of the country that come together every week to share our love of kink and BDSM.
We'll be sharing our perspectives as a professional dom and a professional educator. This podcast will contain certain adult topics and themes, so consider yourself warned.
Arch and I hope to lend our perspectives in the name of education. We are kink professionals, but we are not therapists or medical professionals. Today, we're going to be speaking with a craftsman in the kink community and doing a gear review.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Kink Positive Podcast, at Elemental Kink, and at Functional Kink Coach. My Twitter is at All for Arch. And don't forget, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Kink Positive Podcast for ad-free visitive episodes.
Yay, nice job. So let's welcome Brian to the podcast. Welcome, Brian.
Hello.
Thank you for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do for the community so well?
So I run Chaotic Kink at chaotickink.com or chaotic.kink on Instagram. I make impact and sensation toys in varying art styles, and I like to do matching themed sets.
Nice.
So when you say you're making the toy, you're making all the parts of it. So you're not like really outsourcing things. This is all coming right from you.
No, it's all made in a very small little back room in Brooklyn.
Like most good things are.
Yes.
Nice.
I think that's where we get the good stuff, is a small back room in Brooklyn.
Bodega BDSM. Cool. Now I see how you guys do it on the East Coast.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how you got started in that, or how you got started in kink?
Sure. I was introduced to things about 14 years ago. I'm originally from Orange County, California. I mostly just made my own stuff. I didn't really like anyone I had met in the community at the time, but that was more
In Orange County or New York?
Orange County.
Okay.
I only moved to New York a few years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, when I was first getting into it, I really didn't get along with any of the people in community. They were just very elitist at the time, I felt. And I was new, and it's just like, that's not the vibe I like. So I just did my own stuff for 10 years. And I always just thought, oh, you just make your own gear. That's just how it's done. And then I got into the community in 2017 and met a lot of great people. And I met my current partner that I live with in 2018, and we ended up joining forces to make nice looking toys rather than the Dom Depot stuff that I classically made. So she brought a sense of design and style and leatherworking into it that I don't do. So she's the leather worker and fabric specialist. She also does a lot of like color designs and graphic design, and I run sales and the production end on handles and canes and anything not leather.
I was gonna say, would you say that these toys were created out of a necessity for better toys that you were seeing people using too, or toys being used on you, or
that and style? I really wanted better aesthetics in toys rather than this is a piece of wood with an electric wrap taped handle and that's a can. Like it works. I'm not going to slam it, but I wanted something more out of my toys because it got me the prettier stuff I had, the more it kind of got into my head as a top or bottom that I'm more into the scene now because I have this flashy, cool thing.
That you helped create.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, do you find that your masochism and sadism kind of lend themselves to creating a toy?
Yeah. So I actually, everything that I make, I actually like to use.
Okay.
I don't make anything I would not use myself, top or bottom.
Okay.
I love it all. There's other stuff I do like, but I don't make it, so that's a different topic. But I am where I am on these.
Sure. Nice.
I'd say I really love canes. That's one of my preferred specialties.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite scenes too. As far as impact goes, I don't do that much in the way of like scene play, but what I do in the scene play is caning, single tail, bullwhipping, needles, those types of things. And canes have always been my favorite way to just get right to safe word immediately. There
Do
was a
I have
guy,
some stuff for you?
yeah, there was a guy in the local community when I was growing up that was doing canes that had the top third of them dipped in silica sand, and they were called cutting canes. So they had like little bits of silica sand on them. They were fantastic. They're definitely a one-person toy, but you know, fuck, man, those things were brutal, brutal. Yeah, good on you.
Thank you.
So you started out not loving your kink community and not loving the toys that you had access to, and you kind of rebuilt both of those things to how you want it to be. Solid.
I'll say I never really realized how much like a good, well-made toy that looked pretty did more for me in a scene than just this is a functional piece.
Mm-hmm.
And you personalize things too. You personalize things for people. You put people's names on them. People could kind of curate it to their dynamic, which is cool too.
Absolutely. Like if you want acrylic knife with like, oh, master or this person's monogram on it, easy. Like no big deal.
No, what I was just gonna say was just that I think that in the BDSM scene, when we start, the newness that we carry, like whether it's self-imposed or community imposed, like the way people react when you open your toy bag and the things you pull out at a party, like you're being judged.
Oh yeah.
Like it may be internal as hell that you're like, I got this at Home Depot and it's just a paint stir stick and this is just like a, you know, whatever. But I think coming to a party and laying out just beautiful toys and really nice gear like speaks for itself. And like sometimes like the shyness that one would feel can be gotten over immediately by someone just coming over and be like, where did you get that? Like,
yeah,
in the story around like how you got it, how, you know. Yeah,
it's even more fun when it has like a cool backstory to it.
mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely, that's awesome.
Yeah, really cool stuff. I think the knives are my favorite thing that you make. They're just so cool.
You make knives?
I make acrylic knives, mostly. So these are a flat sheet of laser cut acrylic.
Okay.
I have a laser in my small office in Brooklyn.
Because why not?
Well, you know what? Use lasers to make sex toys.
Right. For calibration purposes only. Right.
So they provide a good introduction to knife play. They're also just fun sensation toys for veterans that know what they're doing with a knife. And if you oopsie, you really can't get them too bad.
Oh, nice.
It's not like an ER trip.
Say, asking for a friend, can you really cut someone with them?
It's I haven't been able to.
Can you get the sensation of if blindfolded that someone doesn't know the difference?
Yeah, as long as the only difference is if you know the cold feeling of steel versus acrylic.
Couldn't you put it in the freezer?
Yeah, probably. I don't see a reason why not.
Nice. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It was a mind fuck for the first like 3 seconds of like, I'm gonna slit your fucking throat.
Yeah, like
that's for everybody.
The sensation alone is usually enough to kind of like trigger that in people. I've never like they go, oh yeah, like I know it's not a knife, but it still scared the shit out of me. Like
right, exactly.
Like it didn't matter. It's like, no, I'm dragging this across your neck right now.
Yeah. Yep. See, we think the same way.
Yeah. Totally. They're scratchy enough that you can welt lightly, but yeah, that's
what would you say is your most intense toy that you make?
See, then that just gets into custom work. I have like base models of things, right? This is a dragon tail. The dragon tail can be made worse on like a higher tier if it's made out of neoprene rubber.
Sure.
It can get even worse if you have me put studs and grommets and serrate the tip and get
Yeah.
nasty with it. So
Nice.
it's I don't make, this is the worst thing, but that one probably is.
Okay. Yeah.
It's I try and gear everything very customized towards the needs of the user.
Cool.
Is that what you had made for Mark? And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I want that. You were like, no, you don't.
Yeah, no, that one will rend the flesh from your
Because there was
body.
two. Yeah. You were like, you don't want that one. You
No.
want this one.
Yeah, you want that other one.
Yeah, those can hurt. You can throw those like single tails and really do some damage.
Yeah.
Now, do you make whips? Do you do any
We're going to make them very like case by case basis. Like
Sure.
they'll be listed, but they won't just be in stock because they're very labor intensive.
Right.
And it's just, I'd rather make them like part of a set kind of thing.
Right. And you'd be competing with like the big names and whip.
Yeah. And it's more that we're going to do a short single tail with a replaceable end.
Mhm.
And it has one of our handles. So if you want it to match the rest of your set, there you go.
Right. Nice.
And it's just a nylon paracord style.
Oh, okay. So it's not leather.
It's not a leather one. There's no way to hit a good price point for it for me.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so much work.
Yeah, I can't imagine. But then again,
It's better to have a specialist. Yeah.
Yeah, there are people like Vicatella and like David Morgan that are making whips that are just so quality and so good. It's like, why would you even compete with that?
Yeah, no. These are going to be fun little stingers.
Have you heard though that there are some like conventional whip makers that will not have anything to do with the BDSM scene, and if you order a whip from them, like you can't tell them that it's ever going to be used on a human?
I've never heard that before. That's hilarious.
Yeah, when I was starting single tailing, like people were telling me names of people that like quality whip makers, and a couple of these people were just like, do not tell this person that you will be using this for BDSM, or send them an email from any reference to BDSM. Like it just, they don't want any association with that. But any like power top that I knew was like, yeah, man, this whip was made by this person. We're like, aren't we not supposed to be talking about this? Yeah, it's funny. It's a flex for sure. For sure. Well, and how did you find the BDSM community when you first started? The elitist attitude, did they show interest in your work, or were they
I wasn't doing that at the time at all.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I didn't start making things pretty until 2018.
Okay.
And a lot of the other designs have come since.
Okay.
I mostly, so my OG kit was neoprene floggers. That's just how I started.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's just how I rolled, like starting out.
But again, like everybody starts there.
Yeah.
And for a community to judge someone based on that and just kind of have a attitude about it all is yeah, it's, I'll say it's very West Coast.
It is.
You know, like the kinkier than thou.
Well, it was the people I knew were still very old guard, and you had to do certain things to be in the community. It was very gate kept, and I was like, I'm just not gonna walk in.
Yeah.
Like you guys can have your sandbox.
Yeah. It is 100% the cool kids are gonna sit at that table and we'll just be over here.
Like, I like the stuff, but I don't want to do it there.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people felt that way collectively, and that's why we kind of have the more heteronormative BDSM scene now, because it's like we had to break free from the old guard ethics of misogyny and just non-inclusion of any type.
Like, yeah, no one likes you. Go away.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. I've been there several times.
Yeah.
Several times. It's true. True. And then since you started making toys, do you find that was what contributed to having a better time within the scene, or just the when you
That came
broke
after.
free?
So I was just I met
Were-
cool people that were fellow game nerds and just my kind of people. And
and they were using the equivalent of the neoprene flogger that you were using, or they just didn't care about that, or
no, I started to put together other stuff at that point, like, oh, I guess, I should really like diversify this a bit. And the more I was with other people instead of like one person at a time, kind of monogamous BDSM, it got me going like, oh, I want to make like this kind of thing. And so I was like, all right, well, these are the essential principles of this device. Let's use this material that's softer and like, this or
yeah,
that.
interesting.
The neoprene floggers, I got really good with controlling like warm up to full sting. So it wasn't just like I'm wailing on random people that don't know what
Oh,
to do.
okay. Yeah,
I'm actually not very sadistic. I
I
can
was
be,
gonna say, what
No
but
judgment.
on a
what is
baseline,
this
I'm not.
warm up we keep what is this word warm up you keep referring to? I don't get that.
Yeah. Well, so like the neoprene works well through clothes.
Right.
So you could warm up with that and then it kind of eases them in. And then I had like 2 different packs. I had like 2 little stingers. They were like my Florentine set and they were just 12 tails.
Wow. Okay.
So it's just like a mean like little whip on the back.
Yeah.
And then my heavy was a 24 fall.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's go to
And
the gym.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
and that I was using like I had made a handle out of like really lightweight like carved birch, so it like weighed nothing, and I was always trying to like weigh the back end more, but like I also had like over lacquered the handle, so it was like so slippery and it was just not a good like shape design. So I think I did well, but I was like feeling like I was struggling the whole time, like, nah, I got this. Like, so it's me to like really control what I'm doing.
Blessed are the people that bottom to that.
Yeah.
the
Hey,
lab rats. Yeah, the lab rats that it takes to test toys. I'll be like, hey, I made this yesterday. Want to bottom to it? It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Nice.
Your quality assurance.
And now you feel like you have a pretty consistent product that you put out that's not, unless it's custom.
Yeah,
there's a standard.
No, I've gone so I was never really a leather worker. So adding meeting my partner and her knowledge of that has given me a better like low end. Otherwise, if I was somehow doing this without her, it would be neoprene solidly.
Okay. And how are you selling yourself? Are you going to like vendor fairs and local communities? Are you calling adult shops? Like how?
I've mostly been doing just social media as a marketing method. I'll do like events here and there, but I usually go for like small local stuff.
Okay. And how are you finding social media's response to what you make?
They fucking love it.
Nice.
I think I've only ever had like a couple bad customers, which is pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the internet, that's pretty low.
Yeah, and the fact that it kind of comes full circle that you're providing people that maybe knew their first piece of gear that looks amazing, you know, and just you're part of that experience with them and you share that and just know that it'll be loved and cherished and used, and like that's really cool. That's a really, really cool thing.
And I love the more someone tells me about, their aesthetics and how they like their play and what they want out of like a set. It gets me excited to make this for them. Go like, okay, I got like a good idea of what I'm making here, instead of like, I would like one flogger, please. I'm like, oh, there's so many.
Right.
Options.
Well, and it's weird because you don't identify as a sadist, but your job is to deal in the semantics of pain.
I can be. It's just not
the driving.
I would say that's not my primary focus, but I can definitely be sadistic.
Okay. Well, then in the same respect, your job is the semantics of pain and the technology of pain and how that can be applied. you know?
Yes. So my part of my background, other than kink, is in engineering, and I also did martial arts for most of my life. So I'm very familiar with the application of force.
Okay. That's well said. Very, very well said.
I've taught this class once, but it's applying my background in Kali Eskrima stick fighting to everything is a cane as far as impact toys. If you want to start, pretend everything is a cane. If you can learn to use that, you can learn every motion you need to apply impact toys properly.
No, that's
You-
radical thinking. Mind blown. Well,
Yeah, you told me that when we were out. Everything's a cane. That's the
Yeah,
new, that's the
everything's
new
a cane.
quest.
Floggers are just floppy canes.
yeah. Yep.
It makes sense in the class.
I can see how that can be applied to a class basis. Yeah, no, that's definitely a true statement.
Obviously, exotic stuff like a single tail is not really it's not applicable, but for like your core, I'd say you're like your fundamental impact toys.
Mm-hmm.
A paddle is a fat cane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Except I don't see that many caning scenes on people's backs. That's all.
yeah,
I'm just
usually
like,
don't get them shoulders with it.
yeah. But challenge accepted. Sweet.
You could use a more of like a thumper instead, but still you wield it much like a cane. It's
Yeah.
a stick with an end.
Yeah.
It's just sloppy a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is all coming back from your martial arts, from
Yeah.
your stick fighting, which was interesting to learn about. I want to see you do that.
I am so out of practice, but I would love to get my ass beat with it.
Now, what is the point of the stick fighting? Like, loser gets their ass beat with the stick, or control of martial arts weapons that got that close to your face, and there you go.
It teaches you impact resistance.
Okay.
It's a valuable skill set.
Yeah, it's a lot of control. You're also doing two at once. So
Okay.
I only did dual stick fighting, so you had to be completely ambidextrous in your use.
Okay. Wow. I bet that helps your Florentining. Like, whoa.
Perfect.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot of paying attention to shit.
Yeah. So I do like to do dual cane scenes. That's fun. I'll do like cane only scenes too, where you'll have a full range of sensation from warm up to heavy with a variety of sticks.
Yeah. I mean, every single different thickness has a different sensation to it. So
versatile.
yeah, very much so. Damn. And then what about your floggers? Like, what's the inspiration there, and what's the motivation?
I mean, I love my neoprene ones. I just needed to make them like, oh, not everyone likes the neoprene, so I might as well do leather too.
Right.
um,
What out of what you sell, what percentage is neoprene and what percentage is leather? Would you say
you know what?
What do you sell more of?
I'd say it's maybe 20% neoprene, 10 to 20. So it's pretty low.
The audience has spoken.
Yeah, no, they have. I know what they want. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
It just means I need to get more heavy impact players on the page.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you might be a little sentimental about your roots, and just kind of like, this is what I started with. This fucking worked for this long, and fuck you guys.
In my personal kit, I have one neoprene flogger now, and then like dozens of leather ones of varying leather weights. Mostly like for demo, like I need to have like a sampler.
Sure.
So it's like, oh, here's like 2 heavy Florentines. Here's like 2 light ones for smacking some balls around. Like,
right. And I think that like working within the BDSM community, people are really able to tell you exactly what they need out of a toy. Have you been finding that?
Half and half. I I start to get more and more weary when people can't describe what they want. So I'll kind of like, I don't know what you want, so I don't like, this probably isn't going to work out well. Like, I need more info, or try some stuff and then come back to me. But like, I don't want to take on a customer who doesn't know what they want and then give them something they don't like, and then there's just this like weird like
yeah that's sales for sure. Buyer's remorse is definitely a thing, and you know, when you see those flags so early on, like, it's good to be wary of that and just use your opportunity as someone who's been in the scene longer and just be like, yeah, go do this and tell me what you want the feeling to be, you know?
Like, do you have something already? Do you want it stingy or thuddy, or like, what do you want out of
right?
And if they don't have something already and they can't describe what they've played with, it's like, oh.
That's weird.
I want to help you, but I don't want to take your money right now.
Just give them the neoprene flogger. Be like, here, start here.
Start here, just like me.
Exactly. You obviously don't know what you want. I'll make that decision for you. Here's a neoprene flogger. Tell your friends. Chaotic Kink. I see why your kink is so chaotic now.
Do you have suggestions for people that are starting out? Where would you say they should start? If they were going to get your gear, where would you tell them to begin at?
If they're just like,
what's a good thing for someone who's looking for
a beginner toy?
A beginner impact.
Beginner impact. So if it's anything I make, if someone's just like, I am brand new and I want a thing, I'd actually give them a knife. And that sounds counterintuitive.
Let's just get that sample right there. That's going to be our tag on Instagram this week.
We're definitely getting demonetized now.
So what I heard you say, that was a great soundbite. That was a great soundbite.
The knives are fairly safe as far as things go. Like, if I gave him a cane, someone could easily get injured and then be like, oh, I really hurt this person, now they don't want to do this. The knife is like really hard to fuck up. Like, you got to try and it'll probably break first. Like, if you like thrust it into someone, it would probably snap. It's not strong. It's an 1/8 inch thick piece of acrylic, but it's designed that way. I hit the like strength point of it, where if a certain amount of strength is applied to it, that thing just snaps in half. And that's a built-in safety feature. The blade is easily replaceable separate of the handle with a screwdriver.
Nice.
If they're going impact and not sensation, they obviously have some idea of some kind of pain sensation they want to inflict. And I would just try to drag that out of them.
Right.
Like,
so
what's
you
your
want
background? What have you done? Like,
you
tell
want
me everything about you and I can help you. But usually, like, I'll have like someone who's brand new hit me up and they don't know what they want. It kind of ends up going nowhere. There's so much subjectivity to it. Like, I was at a party recently. There was a mix of veterans, me and a few other people, and people who have 3 years to 0 experience. And I brought a light flogger. It's a square foot of like 3-ounce leather, and it's on a ring handle, real light and simple. It's a soft leather. This thing does nothing, like, to me. Like, it sounds loud, and that's kind of the fun part of it. It just like claps when it hits, and just a weird leather. And and it obviously went, like, there were some new people who was like, oh yeah, this is nothing, and then someone like, oh wow, that got me a little. And it's like, I could not, that is like the softest thing ever. So I can't say, oh, this is a beginner piece. Like, there's no
People
recommendation there.
Receive sensation differently too.
Yeah. So my addressing this problem is going to be doing like rental kits, if that makes sense. They can try stuff out. I have like a test program going with like someone I know, so I kind of want to see how that pans out and how it ends before launching it. But that's my idea, because like, you don't know what you want. here's a sampler. Do you like more than this, less than this? So if I can give them a baseline, I can work from there.
Interesting. Did you have a first toy?
Yes.
What was the very first impact toy you put in your toy bag?
Okay, impact toy. I think it was just a 1/2-inch oak cane, about 2
Nice.
feet long. Yeah.
Nice. What about you?
What about me?
Yeah, what about you? What was the very first impact toy you put in your toy bag?
Wade made me a slapper that I really like.
Nice.
It was probably one of the first ones.
Nice.
That's a good first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice.
Yeah, that sets the
You're
standard
making
a
us
little
look
bit.
bad.
Yeah. Right.
I just got my stick at Home Depot back in the day. You know? This is a good sword.
I remember mine being, I think, a riding crop that we got at a
Mm,
tack shop. And I thought it was cool because it like using it like really hurt her. Like it wasn't just a matter of like a sensation toy at that point. It was like this could really hurt someone. Yeah, that was a good one. For riding props. Yeah.
The first non-impact toy I made was it was a knife out of plastic, but it was hand ground polycarbonate.
Hmm.
So I took a chunk of polycarbonate and took a grinder to it to make a knife out of it. And the inspiration was one of the people who was showing me stuff like back in the day. She was like allergic to like every metal, but loved knife stuff. So I was like, hey, I got an idea for this. Try it out. And polycarbonate's strong as fuck. So just got demonetized.
is that how you started with your
Yeah. So that was the first thing I
That's
made
so smart.
back in the day. Yeah.
Wow,
And,
the necessity for someone that had an allergy to metal. That's awesome.
and you could also paddle with it.
Yeah.
It's just it's crazy strong.
Now, do you find that due to like not allergies, but do you find people asking at all for vegan toys?
Yeah, and I have a whole vegan material selection that's not shitty.
What are they using instead of like?
So it looks exactly like leather. You have your normal like
But feel. I don't care.
you have like that suede side on one side and then the normal leather looking side on the other, but it is slightly stingier than regular leather. So it's like under neoprene.
Okay.
As far as sensation.
Okay.
It's a plant-based like TPU TPE blend, so it's not like PVC.
Okay.
You really couldn't tell the difference if you didn't know leather that well.
Okay. Like in the way of leather, like what kind of leather would it be comparative to? Like doe leather? Or like something really soft?
No, it's stiff. It's a stinger.
Okay.
It is not a baby toy.
Can you get thud out of it? I mean, can you do the same things with
It has more slap, but if you put enough of it down, it'll thud.
Okay.
But you'll still have a bit of a surface sting from the synthetic fibers.
Hmm.
But it's not where neoprene is, so it's like it's somewhere between this gap of leather and neoprene, because there's
Wow.
easily like 2 points of pain between the two.
Right.
And it's dead middle.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
You vegans.
I'd been looking forever because I have people hit me up constantly going, hey, do you have anything vegan? And they'll show me like, well, there's vegan like cuffs and collars. Like, yeah, that's PVC or polyurethane. Like it's plastic.
Right.
It's not, you calling it vegan leather is just silly.
Right. There has to be a new name for this.
Yeah.
Because it kind of defeats the purpose calling it leather of any type.
Yeah. But honestly, it was a great find, and I really like the material for filling that role.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you found an alternative that's like helped your niche grow. You know,
No, I have not gotten a lot of vegans buying it though. They say they want it, and I'm not seeing them. I get a handful, but it's like
truth comes out.
I bought all this material, and...
right here you are stocking up for niche market fetishes. And they just ain't coming to the table. Come on, vegans. Got you. Got together.
I got you. Buy stuff.
Right, exactly.
And the handle's synthetic. It's not like a leather wrapped handle either. Like,
look what he's doing for you. He's not putting any animal product on this thing whatsoever. Whatsoever. So you can practice BDSM with no leather.
Yeah. with a similar sensation and not just neoprene, which, like, all right.
Is neoprene, wait, but neoprene is vegan, isn't it?
Yeah, it's synthetic. And that was always my option for, you want to go vegan, you get neoprene.
Well, duh, it's the standard for
Right?
anybody that fucking doesn't know what they want. So yeah, vegans are now in that boat.
So I made something a little nicer for him.
Jeez, what a guy. What a guy. You really care.
I do.
It comes out.
And your website is
chaotickink.com. Very
Oh,
easy to remember.
Oh.
chaotickink.com. And that has links to everything. They can email me from there. They can follow me on Instagram from there. They can browse the many
Inventory.
things I have made.
Your
What is
website.
your-
It's a constant work in progress too. Like web work is an insane amount of work, and it's constantly changing.
What is your turnaround for somebody that's putting in a order? for
So
custom?
that'll depend on what it is, obviously. If it's like one of the acrylic knives, those are usually a lot faster, maybe 2 weeks. If it's like a basic color like black, I get out a lot faster.
Okay. Is there any toys you won't make? Asking
Uh,
for a friend.
I haven't had that come up. I haven't
Okay.
had something go, I will not make that kind of item. I have an ethical issue with this.
Mhm.
Like as long as that, like for some stuff, it's like, okay, I've got to talk to this person and make sure they know what they're doing. Like those grommeted neoprene dragon tails.
Right.
I ripped through cardboard boxes with this thing,
Yeah.
expending no effort. So I had to make sure like the people I was talking to could handle that kind of thing, and they were into
Sure.
it.
Sure.
Yeah. So as long as I feel comfortable with what it is, I'm curious what you're thinking of now. Like my mind's just turned like, what could it be?
Join us next week on King Positive Podcast. Yeah, no. I mean, also,
I'm not gonna make steel knives, as far as knives go, because I do make them out of wood or wood resin, but I won't do steel just because I don't have the facility to do
yeah, I was gonna say you're in a back room. You just said in Brooklyn, like, what? You can't make steel? What? You can't have a refinery? What's wrong with you?
Well, I can cast low temp metals, so like it's zinc,
Okay.
which
Okay.
I mean, just use the acrylic.
Yeah. Is zinc easy to work with? Is in the same way?
Zinc is a lot of work to do.
Okay.
I have to sand cast it, or I have to machine a graphite mold or lost wax or something, but like
Interesting.
it's still a bit of effort.
And
the
what
ar-
would the weight be? What's the
Heavy
weight
as shit.
of that? Really interesting.
The zinc is way heavier than steel.
Yeah, totally. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Interesting. But you get the cold metal feel.
I am working on an ice toy if you want cold sensation.
Okay. No, I
'cause
just want the sensation of a knife, but that's cool. I've been using knives like a dumbass, so
I was gonna say you could just use a knife then.
yeah.
Just
That
use a
would
knife.
do it.
They're $10, you know?
Go to Goodwill. It's
Yeah.
cheaper.
And it's like, oh, do you make steel knives? Like, if you want a nice one, there's a lot of good knife smiths out there.
Yeah.
They make beautiful work. It's a specialist skill for that. Or if you don't want to spend a lot of money, anywhere has a knife.
Mhm. Yeah.
Literally anywhere.
Everything's a cane, but not everything's a knife.
Not everything is a
Right.
knife.
What
This is a
isn't
knife.
cane is a knife.
Is a knife. Got it.
Right. That's how it works.
That's how we understood
Everything's
you.
a cane, but when it's not a cane, it's a knife.
I see you've played knifey caney
Sold.
before.
Yeah, knifey cane. Exactly. Oh, that's such a good quote. Oh,
I was wondering, so you were talking a little bit at the beginning about how you were kind of met with some resistance in the kink community when you first kind of came on the scene. When you first started making toys professionally, how was that? Did you feel embraced, or was there like resistance there, or?
Oh, there was a lot of drool on the toys, so it was pretty easy.
Yeah. And online, how are you finding it these days with your Instagram crowd? Like obviously your page is people who want to support you and are there for you, but you're working in the online space. Has that been different?
Yeah, I don't get as much as the feedback that really fuels me. I love that in person, like get to know people in the community, they show me their toys, where they want stuff. They tell me about all the cool stuff, and I get to see their scenes and stuff. It's you miss that like social element of it.
There's stuff coming up though around here now.
Yeah,
Don't you
and I'm
guys
really
have, like,
excited for a
kinky
lot of.
vendors fairs out there and stuff?
Yeah.
Test
Yeah,
fest.
I'm not a very personal person. I
I'll,
like to be
I'll
in
do
my
that. I'll
my
do
Dude,
that
small
I'll do
part.
that in a
back room.
heartbeat.
I
Hire
was
us
gonna
to
say.
do- yeah, fly me out there. I will sell your toys days long, dude. I don't give a shit.
We do have
Well, I
some things
appreciate
coming
it.
up.
Yeah, and I'm
Cool.
excited for that.
Is Tess still active in New York as a group?
I don't know.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have Test Fest coming up.
Yeah,
in
that's
New
what I'm
Jer-
saying.
In New Jersey, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Tess is
Okay.
the original group, and then Test Fest is their. When is that?
It's in July
Hmm.
in Jersey. So I got to go to Jersey.
Jersey. Nice. Well, that should be good. And you're not going to that?
No, I'm vending at Kink Collective's Dungeon event in Manhattan this weekend, but
Oh.
that's the only one I'm scheduled to vend at for May.
Okay. Well, shout out to all our New York listeners. If any of you guys are going out there,
Come on down.
yeah. Mention the King Positive podcast, and
Yes.
we'll know you're listening.
Yeah. And get nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
But we'll know you're listening. So thanks for that.
You'll get nothing and you'll like it.
Right? Exactly. Brian, thanks for coming on with us today. And thanks to our listeners. If you guys have topics that you want us to cover on upcoming episodes, just let us know. And if you want to support the podcast, check out patreon.com/kinkpositivepodcast. If you'd like to work with us one-on-one, go to allformasterarch.com, functionalkink.com, and onlyfans.com/thatbadteacher.
Don't forget, you can find Brian and all of his gear at chaotickink.com or on Instagram at chaotic.kink. Thank you guys so much for listening today. Don't forget to stay kinky and stay positive.
See you next Tuesday, cunts.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Done. Nice
And-
work, everyone. All right. I think we're good.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
All right.
wrapped up in an hour. Jesus. that
We're
was-
getting good.